So now let's talk about the three property regimes as provided by the Family Code of the Philippines. So first is the conjugal partnership of gains. Second, absolute community of property. Lastly, the complete separation of property. So let's tackle first the rules in determining the property of relationship. First is the agreement on marriage settlement. We call this the prenuptial agreement. So, before a man and a woman marry, they could arrive in a prenuptial agreement wherein they could agree whether certain properties will remain exclusive to them or it can also be conjugal or communal to them. This agreement ensures that in times when the two will be separated, they will still have something left for them. Second, if there was no prenuptial agreement. If there was no prenuptial agreement, there will be two rules that we should follow, and the date of marriage matters on this rule. Remember that. So, if the date of marriage took place before August 3, 1988, the rule is we should follow the conjugal partnership of gains. So, bakit August 3, 1988? Kasi this date is the date when former President Corazon Aquino signed and effected the Family Code. And it said that if the marriage took place before August 3, 1988, then we should follow conjugal partnership of gains. And the date of the marriage took place on or after August 3, 1988, the absolute community of property should be followed. And take note that this will only occur in marriage and not in live-in, because live-in is not considered married. Here are some general assumptions. First, property for personal and exclusive use of either the spouse shall be exclusive. However, jewelry shall form part of the communal property. So, when we say property for person and exclusive use of spouse, this means that this property is exclusively for particular use of either husband or the wife. For example, when we say undergarments, these are personal properties, right? These are personal properties for exclusive use of either the husband or wife. However, when it comes to jewelries under the absolute community of the property, jewelries will always be a communal property regardless of whether these jewelries are used exclusively by the wife or the husband. Under absolute community, jewelries will always be communal property. Another assumption, property acquired in exchange of exclusive property shall be exclusive. Here, for example, is if the husband bought a property using his exclusive money, whatever property he acquired in exchange with those exclusive money will always be an exclusive property. And it the same goes with the wife. Another assumption, any property acquired during the marriage are presumed to be communal unless proven otherwise. So when the couple bought something, it is assumed that this property is, the presumption is that the property that they bought belongs to them conjugally or communally. So unless proven otherwise, the assumption is the property they bought is for communal or conjugal use. So here is the table which summarizes the rules whether the property is conjugal or absolute community. So when the property were acquired before the marriage through gratuitous transfer, it will always be exclusive under conjugal partnership. For example, the husband has the property that he inherited from his parents before he married his wife. So this property under conjugal partnership of gains will remain exclusive to the husband. But when it comes to absolute community, this is considered as communal property. Same goes with onerous property. When in conjugal partnership, it is exclusive, while in absolute community, it is communal property. And those property where the spouse has a legitimate descendant from a previous marriage that under both rules will always be exclusive to the husband or to the wife. And when it comes to property acquired during marriage, gratuitous title under conjugal partnership is exclusive, the same with the absolute community. While the onerous title under conjugal partnership, it will always be conjugal, and under absolute community, it will be communal. And in exchange of exclusive property, from the word itself, exclusive property, under conjugal partnership and absolute community, it will always be exclusive. But in exchange of conjugal communal property, of course, it is conjugal and communal. While when the fruits or income from exclusive property under conjugal partnership, it is conjugal. But when under absolute community, it is exclusive. Last is fruits or income from conjugal or communal property. Under conjugal partnership, it is conjugal, and under absolute community, it is communal. Um, any fruits or income, the husband or wife will always be conjugal or communal. So now let's move on to complete separation of property as provided by the Family Code of the Philippines. Here, as the name suggests, each spouse retains individual ownership of the property that they had brought into the marriage, as well as the property they had individually acquired thereafter. For example, naghiwalay si Mr. and Mrs. Tanong, may karapatan ba si Mrs. sa lupa kung naghiwalay sila ng kanyang husband? The answer is there must be a need of judicial separation. Because if there is none, their property will remain as conjugal even if naghiwalay na sila, because in the eyes of the law, they are still married. For example, the house and lot is under the name of Mr. and Mrs. And kapag naghiwalay sila dahil for example, nangabilang bahay si Mr. and nagkaroon ng ibang pamilya, until hindi pa nadidissolve ang kanilang property relationship sa pamamagitan ng judicial separation of property, ay mananatiling mag-asawa ang may-ari ng mga lupang ito. So question again, what if there is a judicial separation? Here they can have their own life and properties, as stated under the Family Code Article number 145. That each spouse shall own, dispose of, possess, administer, and enjoy his or her own separate state without need of the consent of the other. So what if the husband is nagkaroon ng ibang kinakasama at nakapagpundar sila ng bagong ari-arian? So here, if hindi pa dumadaan sa judicial separation of property ang mag-asawa, mananatiling pag-aari ng mag-asawa ang may pupundar na bagong ari-arian ng asawa na may bagong kinakasama. For example, si Mr. A and Mrs. B were separated. Mr. A now is living with Miss C. And in the life of Mr. A and Miss C, they have bought for example, 4 apartment. 2 for Mr. A and 2 for Miss C. So here, the 2 apartment bought by Mr. A will fall onto conjugal property of Mr. A and Mrs. B dahil they are still married in the eyes of the law. So I guess that ends my discussion. Thank you.